Hello students, I am Ravi Shankar Rai, Assistant Professor in Department of Hotel Management in the BBT University. Students, today's our subject is your front office and code is BHM 2603, and today's our topic is fire, causes of fire and precautions will take in the fire. So students, in this chapter, we will discuss in all these points which are covered in this topic. So let's start our topic, that is your fire causes and precautions in the case of fire. I'm sharing a screen with you. From there, we will start. So students, here the subject is front office, code is BHM 2603, and our today's topic is your fire safety causes, classification of fire and procedure in the case of fire. So let's start with our introduction part. The hotel management is fully responsible for the safety and well-being of guests as well as of the hotel staff. In case of any harm to the customer due to accidents on accounts of negligence, the hotel management has to face legal proceedings and pay compensations as decided by the court of law. Such occurrence bring a bad name to the organization and affect businesses. The management must pay serious attention for the personal safety and security of the guest, customers, patients, members of organization, and building property. The management should understand the importance of remaining prepared for events that threaten the life and property of guests and employees, as well as the assets of the business. The common problems generally center on fire, accidents in the hotel, like electrical shock, burning, injury due to falling or slipping, and swimming pool accidents. To some extent, on natural disaster like earthquakes, floods, and tornadoes, criminal attacks on guests, and the theft of guest and hotel properties. Some terminologies which are related to the fire are also given here. Combustion and burning are essentially oxidation process in which a material known as fuel combines with oxygen with the release of energies, heat, light, pressure and sound, and production of its oxide. Explosion, the process in which a material oxidizes at an extremely higher high rate to release vast amount of heat, light, flame, pressure and sound. The vast amount of heat released in the very short period expand the released gases and the surrounding air. So students, next is fire. Fire is the most common damaging agent and a major disaster. About 80% of the poverty is rendered total loss after a building is engulfed in a fire. At the same time, fire causes substantial number of burn and death cases. Provision should be made for the safety of customers and property against fire. Then students, we goes to our next heading, that is your classification of fire. According to the type of the fuel, fire can be classified under the following categories. Type A fire. This type of fire is caused by burning of solid organic material, for example, wood, plastic, paper, cloth, and rubber, etc. Type A fire is also known as general fire. Type B fire, caused by burning of liquid organic material, for example, petrol, diesel, kerosene, oil, alcohol, and other oils. Causes the type of fire. The B fire is also known as oil fire. Type C fire. Burning of inorganic materials causes this fire. For example, potassium, sodium, sulfur, etc. This fire is also known as chemical fire. Type D fire. The fire is caused by combustion of both organic and inorganic gases, for example, methane, petroleum gases, and hydrogen gas, etc. This fire is known as gaseous fire. Type E fire. Electrical sparks or short circuit initiates the fire and it is maintained by the burning of combustible material used as indicated above. This fire is known as electrical fire and requires different preventive techniques. Condition of the fire. There are different conditions which are essential for starting and maintaining fire. First one is your presence of combustible material for fuel. Next is presence of oxygenated air. Oxygen is supporter of combustion and is essential for it. Normal air contains about 20% of oxygen of its volume. Next is ignition temperature. Fuel material have their own specific ignition temperatures. This temperature is necessary to start combustion and maintain fire. Variation is any one of the above condition will affect and control the intensity of fire. The above condition is explained with the fire triangle. The fire will maintain itself if the triangle is closed. Next, our subheading is, students, that is your how a fire starts and sustains itself. When an external heat source heats a fuel material in the presence of oxygen, the portion of substance which first attain the ignition temperature start burning. The heat liberated by the combustion process is divided two portions. One part of heat generated by burning is released to the atmosphere. The other part of heat is utilized in warming and raising the temperature of fuel material adjoining the burning zone. Under favorable condition, if the adjoining material attains its proper ignition temperature, the fire proceeds further and sustains itself. If the part of heat is not enough to raise the temperature of the fuel material to the ignition point, the fire will not sustain and would ultimately extinguished. At the same time, other fire sustaining conditions, oxygenated air and fuel material should be available. Our next subheading are students, condition which will retard or subdue fire. Restriction or absence of combustible material, restriction or absence of oxygenated air affect the intensity of fire, and under serve reduction of oxygen, the fire may not be able to sustain itself. Coolness or less heat of fire. If the heat of fire is not sufficient enough to raise the temperature of adjoining fuel material up to the ignition point, the fire will not sustain. Then we will go to our next subheading, that is your methods of extinguishing fire. The methods which depend upon the cutting of the fuel, remove the unburned fuel material away from the vicinity of the fire. This method is not suitable for closed spaces or heavy material objects. The shifting is difficult due to smoke in the closed space or due to the weight of the objects. Next is methods depending on the oxygen supply cut off. Covering the fire with a layer of uncombustible material will restrict air to reach the fire zone. The fire gets starved of oxygen and and extinguishes. Example, putting stand or dust on burning material or covering it with woolen blankets. Next is your methods depending on the cooling of the fire. A large amount of air is blown over a small fire is absorbed the heat of the fire and the adjoining material fails to reach ignition temperature and the fire is unable to sustain itself. Small explosions over the first remove the hot gases and cool the first fire by expanding the hot flames. Pouring water over general fires, the pouring of water over the fire first observe the sensible heat and secondary resolve was vast amount of heat as latest heat of vaporization. Thus, the heat is cooled and quickly brought under control. It is half completed. Then, friends, we will start our next topic after this. That is, we are going to our next topic. Fire prevention techniques. In the fire prevention techniques, first we start with the general fires. Yes, fire prevention techniques, when we are talking about the general fires. If conditions favor the fire can be contained in a limited space by the removal of unburned fuel material from the vicinity of fire. Next is your covering the fire by layer of incombustible material such as sand, thick woolen blanket, etc. This restricts air supply and control and control the fire. Next is your another point. Spraying or throwing water over general fire, control it. Water forms a temporary jar or temporary jar on the burning surface and restricts air kilocalories per kg per degree Celsius up to boiling point and then 540 kilocalorie per kg as the latest heat of evaporation. The heat thus absorbed cools the fire and yes, the further the water vapors envelop the fire and restrict the air supply to fire. So friends, we will go to our next heading, that is your oil fire. It should be noted that sand or water should never be used to quenches oil fires. The reason being that sand and water are heavier than oil and settle down in the burning oil mass, leaving the top burning layer in contact with air to continue burning. At the same time, at the sand or water which settles in the oil displaces the burning oil and spreads the fire further. The control of oil fires, foam type fire extinguisher should be used. The foam spreads on the top of building and burning oil. For control of oil fire, foam type of the extinguisher should be used. Next, the dry calcium bicarbonate powder extinguishers can also be used with oil fires. Bicarbonate powder release CO2 gas on the coming contact with the burning layer. The powder oil and carbon dioxide gas form foam with CO2 filled bubbles which floats on the surface and cut the air supply to the burning surfaces. Next is your gas fires. These fires require very special techniques to control them. First is the use of oxygen absorbing gases. Some gases such as halon is especially favored for extinguishing general and gaseous fires and electrical equipments because it leaves no residue and does not cause electrical short circuits or damaging corrosion of the equipment. These gases have a very high affinity for oxygen and they absorb about 20 times of their own volume of oxygen. When sprayed over the gas fire zone, they absorb the oxygen from the space around the fire and by creating an oxygen deficient zone around its around the fire and by creating an oxygen deficient zone around it and extinguishes it. These criminals gases such are though very costly but are very efficient not only for gaseous fire but only other fire as well as explosion method. This method is suitable for gas fires, especially in oil fields. A series of explosions are carried out in the quick section over the gas fire. The first heat ignites the explosive material which absorbs a large amount of oxygen from the surrounding during explosion. Next is our some of the important points are noted. The first is the design of the building should comply fully with the establishes rules and regulations of fire safety norms. The building structure should be so designed that the fire can be isolated and contained in the affected portions which must spreading and other portion of the building. The building design should be able to ventilate hot gases, smokes, and toxic fumes to reduce suffocation and also the building temperature does not increase much so that the evacuation of people is made easier. The building design should provide enough and easy exit points for quick evacuation of guests and the hotel staff. Enough emergency stairs should be put outside the building to serve as exits in the case the internal stairs are full of smoke. Good fire alarm system is provided in all sections of the building and especially in strategic areas such as kitchen, storerooms, and underground floors. Enough automatic fire extinguishers systems and manually operated extinguishers are provided as suitable and easy approachable points. Next is your large overhead and underground water storage tanks should be maintained full of water exclusively for fire emergencies. The readiness of the fire alarm and fire extinguishing system should be checked at scheduled intervals. The hotel staff should be trained to respond to fire emergency without, without panic and should prove helpful to the customers not much familiar with the hotel corridors and exit points. Then we goes to the our next subheading, that is your fire alarm circuits. A fire alarm device is used to warn the occupants of a building the presence of a fire before it spreads and blocks escape routes or attempts to extinguish it. On sending smoke, the detectors send him a loud, high-pitched alarm tone, usually intermittent and sometimes accompanied by flashing lights. There are two types of smoke detectors. The first one is photochromic or photoelectric smoke detectors. The light beam obstruction detector utilizes a small light source and a light sensitive cell that spot the light falls with practices of the smoke interrupts the ray of light. The photocell stops generating current and alarm circuits is integrated on. Sometimes the control circuit is no arrange that a zone. The system is to be installed high enough so that the beam of light is not interfered by the general movement on the floor area. The second is your light diffusion. Light diffusion smoke detectors. The photoelectric detectors is used yes student. After that, a light emitted code, that is your LED, when particles of smoke enters the chamber that hold without that smoke particles diffuse or scatter the light ray or it can be seen by photocell. As a result, the light sensitive cell generate a current is an alarm is triggered. Photoelectric detectors respond faster and more effective to the large smoke particles generated by the smoldering, slow burning of fire. Next is your ionic detector. Ionization detector employs radioactive material is so tiny quantity that they pose no significant health hazards. The, the material, the radiation leaves ionized the air molecules between a pair of electrodes in the detection chamber. This enable a minute current to produce produce between a pair of electrode in the detection chamber. This enables a minute current to conduct by ionized air. When smoke enters the chamber, the smoke particles attach themselves to ion and diminish the flow of current. The reaction is current triggers on the alarm. The ionized and ionization detectors respond faster to the tiny smoke particles released by a rapid burning fire. For this reason, some manufacturers reduce combination values of detectors. Many fire prevention authorities recommended the use of both photoelectric and ionization types in various locations in private home and either type of detector. After that, it goes to our next subheading, that is your local rules regarding the safety and the building design. First one is the provision of correct type of fire extinguishers at appropriate positions. Properly designed buildings structure to localize and prevent the spread of smoke and fire to unaffected elections. Uh, to prevent the spread of the smoke and fire to unaffected sections of the building. Proper design is smoke-free staircases. Next is your enough safe escape routes for the guests and employees for quick evacuation of building. Enough water is suitable capacity, overhead and underground tanks for emergency water supply during fire accidents. The provision of staff training, the provision of staff training to handle fire situations and help customers to get out of the building through safe and convenient route. Properly designed smoke-free staircases. The enough safe escape routes for the guests and employees for quick evacuation of building. Provision of fire and smoke sensors and alarms. Automatic water sprinkling arrangements at strategic positions in the hotel building. Provision of staff training to handle fire situation and help consumers to get out of building through safe and convenient routes. Exit access. The exit access of the building distance a guest or employees should have to travel before reaching an exit should be according to NFPA, that is your National Fire Protection Act. Doors, doors must swing open to outside. The exit should be illuminated on a continual basis. The emergency power should be arranged so as to provide the required illumination automatically in the event of any combination and interruption of normal lighting. All lighting exit signs should also be connected to the emergency power supply. Follow the local codes of the NFPA, which generally specify the size of letter, color, lighting level, and position of the sign. General accidents. Arrangements should be made for the safety of the customers and staff. The electrical safety norms should be strictly adhered according to rules in the force. The electrical safety norms should be strictly adhered according to the rules in the force. Electrical control and safety devices such as switch, fuses, and earth, etc., should be provided and tested at regular intervals. The staff should be trained to handle electrical shock accidents and fires caused by electrically. To prevent general accidents, the building floor should be kept clean of slippery materials, example, oil, soap, high polish, and wax, etc. The floors of passages and movement area should be free of the obstructions. And the last, staircases side rails should be strong and properly fixed. So friends, thank you for today. So friends, today we discussed the cautions and cases in the case of fire and what are the precautions we can take in the case of fire in the hotels. So this is a very important topic in the our syllabus and also it is very general topic and very important topic also for the hotel industry. So we are finishing here this lecture today and we will meet in the next lecture with our next topic. So hope all you understand this topic very well. Thank you all of you.